Are you ready to master the waves of medical device product development? Well, wax up your surfboard because you are listening to Inspired by Amua. And here is your medical device product development expert, that Hawaiian-hearted hostess who will help you hang 10, Megan Alonso.
Ikomo mai and aloha. Mahalo for tuning in to another episode of Inspired by Amua, where we interview those to help you master the waves of medical product development. Today's episode should be a popular one because we're talking about a topic that everyone goes through. That's fundraising. So Brandon T. Adams is one of the most hardworking guys I know, and his young age makes me respect him even more. So, Brandon, are you ready to hang 10?
Oh, you know I was born ready.
All right. So tell us a little bit about your background and elaborate on what I said about your young age and how you're so impressive.
Well, I don't know about young. I mean, I'm 26 now, so I feel a little age, especially with everything I got my hands into. But I guess a little bit about my background. I was born an entrepreneur. My dad, he was an entrepreneur. He tried many different things. He got into an ice business. He actually sold packaged ice for a living. You can actually make money selling frozen water. People laugh at that. And he did that, and I grew up in that business and got to see at a young age what it was like as an entrepreneur, the ups and downs, the failures, the successes, all of it. And I learned from that. So I guess I had a little bit of advantage growing up. And then I had went to college, and college at the beginning wasn't so great for me. I almost dropped out. I got a 1.68 GPA my first semester, and then I kind of did a little turnaround where I got my things together, and I was still kind of lost in college. It's like I didn't know if I wanted to go take the family business over, if I wanted to go and do my own marketing thing. I didn't know. But then it was one day at Iowa State University, I came across a presentation by a guy by the name of Cactus Jack Behringer, and he spoke about inventing products, and he had been on Shark Tank and made a deal, and he's a well-known guy in his industry and for his time. But he led me to a book called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, and the book changed my life. Everybody listening should listen to that book, and I listened to it. I'm still listening to it this day, and that's 3.5 years ago.
Yeah, I'll link to that in the show notes. That is a great book.
Yeah, you should. It's a great book, and what it comes down to is whatever the mind conceives and believes, the mind achieves. Whatever you think about most of the time you become, it's all mental. If you want anything in life, you can achieve it no matter where your background is, no matter if you got a 1.68 GPA, you're broke, wherever. And I took that seriously, and I was waiting for my moment to do something huge. Well, I had graduated, or step back a bit. It was a hot day. I was on an ice route, and I was delivering ice, and I wanted a cool bottled beverage. So you could put ice cubes in, and that's obviously time-consuming, and it takes some time to do that. I want something that fit inside easily and keep it colder longer. So I had that aha moment, and that day I invented a product called the Arctic Stick that cools and flavors your bottled beverage. Took that to Iowa State University, won a class competition, and then from there I somehow graduated from college and spent the next 2 years of my life through product development, doing CAD drawings, manufacturing, been on a pilot run of a TV show, marketing. I mean, I went through it all, and I got my degree in product development by spending almost $100,000 of my money, and then also just beating the pavement and doing everything. And seriously, I mean, I know the whole process, and it's well worth it. And then finally, I got to market. But what happened is, in my last leg of funding, I had to raise money for the tooling to manufacture, which you know is very expensive. Mm-hmm. And I had to raise $25,000. So I turned to Kickstarter, and I did a crowdfunding campaign, and this was in July 2014. It was actually during the Coolest Cooler campaign, that one everybody knows, that raised $13.2 million. And it was during that time I raised it was $26,421 during that campaign. I had a successful campaign, and I got on USA Today. I mean, I did a lot of different things. I worked nonstop. And the one thing people don't realize in crowdfunding is it is a nonstop grind. I mean, it's not like it's just going to throw up and have success. You got to work for it. And for me, I realized how hard it was, and I did everything wrong. And I saw that I wasn't the only person. There is like 65 to 70% of the campaigns out there were failing. So like an entrepreneur, I saw a problem. I wanted to solve it. And it was my New Year's resolution in 2014, going in 2015. I wanted to become the top influencer in my field. So I studied the market. I interviewed the best. I ended up writing a book on crowdfunding, spent hours upon hours on Kickstarter and Indiegogo. And then I did the unique thing to stand out is I was the only person in the world to go and promote local crowdfunding campaigns on TV. And then from there, I ended up starting my company, Keys to the Crowd, which we have a powerhouse team now that we're starting to grow. Now we're at 7 people on our team. And what we do is we do a full-out campaign for you. You hire us, and we can basically do a full-out launch, marketing campaign, everything for you. And the most recent big success we've had is with the Freedom Journal, where we raised $453,000 in 33 days, had over 7,000 backers. And when we had launched, I mean, we hit $100,000 in 33 hours. And at that point, I knew everything that I'd worked for had come out. And that overnight success, years in the making, came to me. And now, I mean, it's Jumpstart. We have multiple clients. This month, we've launched. It'll be 3 launches. And next month, I don't even know how many it'll be for crowdfunding campaigns. And that's where I'm at today, doing crowdfunding.
Yeah, so I want to back up a little bit. You mentioned that you have a book. So your book, as well as your company, is Keys to the Crowd, right? Yeah. So I'm going to link to that in the show notes. And then for those of you who don't know, he mentioned the Freedom Journal. So I was at that launch party. It was a lot of fun. So tell us more about the Freedom Journal and what that is.
Yeah, so the Freedom Journal is awesome, man. And I love JLD. He is good friends now after all that we went through. So obviously everybody, I should know, John Lee Dumas, Entrepreneur on Fire, he had wanted to create this product that helps you set and accomplish goals, a book. And any entrepreneur, if you're very successful, you know that setting and accomplishing goals is huge. You need to write them down. You need to set them daily. You need to know where you're going. And he created this book to do that. And when I met him back in August, he actually gave me a copy of one, a PDF download. And I use that, and most people don't realize that I use that, the actual 100-day goal to have success with my event for YC. It was actually to raise money through my crowdfunding on Indiegogo. And that's how you actually had saw everything we were doing. And that was a huge part to the event that we are going to have here in the coming weeks because of the Freedom Journal. I had set goals daily. I was on it. And it's a great book. And we had worked together to create that launch, a lot of moving parts in that. And with John's audience, I mean, it was amazing. And, hey, we got it out to thousands of people. Yeah. And it's still selling now. So it was a number 6 most crowdfunded book in history.
You know, speaking of that, I'm using the PDF version, and I have some hard copies that I want to give out to clients, and so I figured I'd use the PDF. I had it printed and bound at FedEx, the Kinko's store, and you know, to do that, it costs more than just buying a copy of the hardback. So, for those of you listening, just buy it. So I'll link to it in my show notes.
Yeah, no, it's you get it. I mean, it's well worth it, and it's you should get it every 3 months up to your 100 days. And I gave out to a bunch of friends as well. Mm-hmm.
So you mentioned something that I want to circle back to. There's 2 things. So you mentioned you use the Freedom Journal to launch your upcoming conference, and there's some cool things about that. So first, what is the Young Entrepreneur Convention, and what's going to be going on there? It's pretty exciting.
So here's a good point we go about when I talked about the beginning for Think and Grow Rich. Whatever the mind conceives and believes, the mind achieves. And whatever you think about, most of the time you become. And I've used that for Arctic Stick to get it to market, for any endeavor I've taken. And I had a lot of people come to me through my own podcast show and everything else. People would come to me, and it'd be people that haven't really jumped into entrepreneurship or their own business, and they had questions. A lot of the same questions came to me. What do I do? What are the next steps? How to even start my own business? I mean, how do I get incorporated? Like all these questions. And I'm like, there's obviously demand here for this knowledge. Like, I want to help these people. And I'd always want to bring an event together. And I mean, I was always been the guy I want to bring people together and have a big boom on something. And I thought about this, and then I dreamed about it, and then finally, in the fall, in August, I finally had realized I made my mind up that I was going to do it. And I wasn't going to take no for an answer. So when I did make that commitment, within a month, I had built a team over a dozen people, and we wanted to co-create a movement. We worked hard. We had obstacles. We created videos. We created promotional material, and then we ended up doing an Indiegogo campaign where we raised on the actual platform a little over 16 grand. But that allowed us to raise an additional, I think, like 50 grand or more through just that proof of concept. And from there, I mean, now our event is it's going to be the largest conference in Iowa. We're having anywhere from 600 to 1,000 entrepreneurs there, people, young professionals. And 8 months ago, this is an idea in my head, and we have a great team. And our speaker lineup is amazing, which, you know, I'm first publicly will be announcing right here, actually, for one of the speakers. So first off, we have Kevin Harrington, the original shark of Shark Tank. We have John Lee Dumas, Entrepreneur on Fire. He'll be there. You can talk to him about the Freedom Journal. Jeff Hoffman of Priceline. Ken Shamrock, Des Woodruff will be there. Megan Watt. Jack Behringer, who I talked about, my mentor, the guy that led me to Think and Go Rich. And the most recent one, which I just found out last night, and luckily because I had met him down in Florida, Caleb Maddox, he will be speaking. Kid's 14 years old.
Whoa.
Oh, yeah. You know Caleb Maddox?
Yeah, well, I looked him up the other day after I listened to your podcast and found out who he was.
Yeah, I did mention on the podcast. So he is a big name, but yeah, he's going to be there. And we have a pitch competition, and you have the opportunity. I mean, our first, second, and third place prizes are valued to over $30,000, and you get to pitch in front of a Kevin Harrington, a real shark. And then the coolest thing that we're doing that I've never done before, and it's going to be very unique, is we are actually bringing the crowd to a crowdfunding campaign. We're launching Kevin Harrington's newest book, Put a Shark in Your Tank, on that day, April 23rd, live from our event in front of everyone. And I really think this has potential to break a record. It's going to be awesome. The crowd will actually get a chance to contribute to his book. They'll get a chance to work with Kevin. There's so many great opportunities here. And I'm amazed that he's doing this because, like, the value we're putting on all the reward levels, he's, like, doing it, like, well over half off what he'd usually charge. Because this guy gets paid $50,000 to go speak for an hour and a half at an event. Yeah, and so the stuff he's doing at this event, it blows my mind. So I'm humble and I'm excited. And so my company's launching that campaign, and then it's also at my event. So it's a lot going on in one day, and you see why I'm kind of rushing for things. But it's going to be a huge success. And anybody can actually check out the details on that at putasharkinyourtank.com. But yeah, so that's everything. All that stuff came about from just an idea and actually acting on it and believing in myself and pushing forward. And it led to creating one of the largest events in Iowa, and then also with my crowdfunding company leading to do a crowdfunding campaign with the original shark from Shark Tank. So It's amazing. I'm very happy and grateful for everything.
So I will be at the Young Entrepreneur Convention, and I have a treat today. So I'm giving away a VIP ticket.
Yeah.
So I'll have a raffle up on the show notes. So be sure to check that out. And you can also check out the convention. It's youngentrepreneur.convention.com. And it took me a while to learn how to spell entrepreneur.
Yeah, I think out of all people, I think I've typed the word entrepreneur more than anyone. Like, literally, anytime I type in Young Entrepreneur Convention, when I use that word like it's part of my language every day. And so I know how to spell entrepreneur, but anybody that actually you give that ticket out to, I'll also, if they come to the event, meet me, I'll get them a signed copy of my book as well.
All right. That's a pretty awesome giveaway there.
Yeah. And I'd love to meet them too. I like to meet everybody from around the country who are going after their dreams.
Yeah, and you're pretty good about talking. I just really enjoyed how the first time I talked to you, you were just very personable, and it just
I
felt
remember that. I don't. I remember that very first day. I actually, where was that? And you had called and you said you were from Hawaii, and you said everything you're doing. I was really pushing you, like, hey, you should be there. Because I mean, I'm not the kind of guy like, if I'm pushing you for something, I'm not just trying to do a sale. Like, I'm doing it because I know how much it'll change somebody's life. Like, and that's why I always, in anybody out there for business, like, if you believe in your product and you know it's really going to help people, you should do whatever it takes to get it to them. Because, and I mean, here's a big thing I learned from Grant Cardone, and he said doing a sales call, you're not saying no to me, you're saying no to yourself. And even more, you know what? You're saying no to your family. Is what would happen what if you could go and you'd be at this event and what it could do for you and your family and affect your life and your business and all the money you could get. Think about it that way. If people realized that and thought of it in that terms, they'd push to get their products out and whatever's they're offering to people.
Mm-hmm. And right after that, you made me a deal, and it got my button gear, and I got my website up, and I've just got a lot of personal things going on right now, but there's never a great time to get moving on a project that you want to do. So I just thought, I'm just going to power through it.
And you're doing great. I'm proud of you, and I'm excited because since we talked, and now, I mean, you got your company going and everything else, and a few people. There's one I actually talked to the other day, my friend Kara, and she is at earlier stages in her, like you were, had her own idea, and she was like, oh, I don't know. I don't know the numbers. I'm not ready to go pitch at the competition. I said, and she tried to make an excuse. I said, no, you're not making excuses. People either they figure out a way to do it or they make an excuse. I said, you're not going to be that person. I said, you just figure it out and you do it. And no matter what happens, you're going to get better. So people need to learn to get themselves out of their comfort zone and do things that scare them, because that's how you get better. And that's, I mean, me, I do things that scare me every day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So speaking of things that scare you every day, back to crowdfunding and just how that all ties into the medical device and diagnostics industry. For some products, they can do the traditional crowdfunding model where you incentivize them with, okay, you're an early adopter, you're going to be sent this. And then other times it's really not applicable because maybe it's a prescription only device, or maybe it's used in the operating room, and so you wouldn't really have one yourself. And so there's definitely some big changes coming down the pipeline. The SEC is just starting to allow equity crowdfunding next month, May 16th. So that's really exciting. And although there is some difficulty behind that, so elaborate a little bit.
Yeah, it's a whole new monster. I mean, I actually had somebody that wanted me out of San Diego that wanted me to crowdfund for a dental center, for actual like university, and for obviously they wanted to provide equipment, all this stuff, and it wasn't a reward-based campaign that could be able to do. But in terms of equity crowdfunding, I mean, people are already doing equity crowdfunding. It's just there's a lot of laws and a lot of great. I mean, you literally, when you get into that, you need to sign your life away when you do give that money to that fund, because I mean, there's no guarantee you could get that back. And I mean, they're open. I don't know all the details because I've had a lot of people come to me, but I do know people that know how to do it. And that's where I've gained relationships. So, I mean, I get people come to me all the time and look to do an equity crowdfunding deal because I'm the king of crowdfunding. But it's complicated, but it'll change the way we fund things. And it'll be ability for people that aren't accredited investors to be able to get into investing in these deals from the crowd. And it's exciting. And there are a lot of rules, but there's a lot of opportunity for funding some big projects, and it's changing the way. I mean, you no longer have to go knock door to door and go in these investor meetings. It can all be virtual, and that's where our future's going.
Mm-hmm. I just want to be clear. So, Brandon can still be that marketing engine behind the campaign, but you definitely should consult with a securities lawyer, or he has connections if you don't.
Yeah, no, I have connections. So, like, I don't know the logistics, and quite honestly, I don't want to, and I don't need to. But I'm the guy that people can come to me and I know how to get them to the right people for in terms of that, because you need, a great lawyer on board for that, and you need people that understand it. And it's fairly new. We're only not even like 3 years into this whole, with the PPM and all the equity crowdfunding. It's new and things are changing rapidly. So there's a lot of rules behind it. But again, if anybody out there is looking to do it, I definitely can put them in touch with the right people for it. And like you said, I can blow things up where I can get awareness around something.
And so on your website, there's a 7-day online crowdfunding course that anybody can go through, and it's free.
Yeah.
So this is a great resource, guys. You should really take advantage of it.
You should. And, it's a 7-day free course. I'd create that because people always asking me. It saved me a lot of time because everybody wanted to pick my brain on crowdfunding, everything else. So what I did is I spent just took the time, created this course. It's a 7-day free course that gives you everything you need. And then at the end of the 7 days, as you probably know, I'll pitch you on a bigger course, which you have to pay for, but it's well worth it. It could save you tens of thousands of dollars in headache. But that 7-day free course will give you a lot more knowledge than most people even know about crowdfunding. And all you got to do is just go to my website, keystothecrowd.com, and you'll see there a pop up for a free 7-day course.
All right. So go check that out. Brandon, thank you so much for being on here. It's been an awesome time, and we've learned a whole bunch of good stuff, and we have some freebies for us, and we're excited. I'm excited to be in Des Moines, Iowa for the first time in a few weeks.
Yeah, Megan, you won't be the only one for the first time. There's people all over the country like, where's Des Moines at? Where's Iowa? So we have people, I think, from 25 states now. And, there's so many people. We've sold over 500 tickets, and we're looking at to be having anywhere from like 600 to 1,000 people. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And anybody listening, I highly suggest you come out, join Megan and I, and there'll be a lot of entertainment, and I guarantee you it'll be well worth your time.
All right. Well, aloha, Brandon.
Aloha.
Hey guys, those waves of medical device development can be pretty rough at times, and you want a family to go through that with you. So good thing that we have one. Join our online Ohana, which means family, by the way. It's our Facebook group titled Inspired by Amua. So just type that in the search bar. I'll see you in there. Just share whatever tips or obstacles you're facing, and we'll all support each other. So have a great day, and until the next episode, Amua!
Mahalo for joining us. If you're new to riding the waves of medical device product development, or if you've been in development for a while already, Inspired by Amua is here to surf with you. Want to be a master of the waves? Text HANG10, that's HANGTEN, to 44222. We'll send you the most common wipeouts companies make in product development so you can avoid them and reach master wave status. Again, that's HANG10 to 44222. We publish a new episode every Tuesday, so catch us at inspiredbyamua.com. Amua!